In this tech session, Team Swim Tech is talking to Lyndon Dunsbee. Lyndon held the world record for swimming the English Channel in a time of 8 hours 34 minutes, although it is rumoured that this could have been even faster had he got a good tide. Today Lyndon has kindly agreed to give us an insight into training for swimming the Channel and the Marathon 10k swim. Okay Lyndon, what would you say are key sessions for someone aiming to swim the Channel for the first time and expecting a time of around 12 hours plus?
I think really it's, I'd go on, if you're going to be in the water that long, is knowing that you can swim at a pace for a length of time, and maybe do 2 to 4 key sessions a month at a distance which you wouldn't normally do in a training session. So for instance, if you normally do a 5k training sessions, maybe 2 or 3 times a month, or up to 4 times a month, do a 10k session.
Would that be a continuous 10k swim? Or?
No, I would break it up. Even top marathon swimmers, to ask them to do 10k straight off would be mind-blowing, counterproductive in some way, because you will just swim slowly. For the fastest swimmer I know from previous experience, we would do sets like 10 1ks, and reducing the rest but speeding up each 1k, or we would do sets of 400s, 20, 30 or 40.
Yeah, the legendary 4400.
Yes, yes.
Perhaps you'd just like to describe the legendary 4400.
4 to 5 hours of pain really, to be fair. We used to do 4400s off. The fastest we would do would be off 40 of them off 5 minutes, getting 15 to 20 seconds rest. We would stop after every 10 for about a minute and a half, and off we go. But that was all at race pace.
And what sort of pace would that be?
Well, that'd be about 440, 435s, 400. That we used to do that at Duke York's pool in Dover, which is slightly longer than the 25 metre pool. So, you know, you're probably looking at a 25 metre pool would be about 430, 435s.
Okay. How many times a week, realistically, involving amateurs, do you think a swimmer aiming for the Channel at the average pace should aim for session-wise?
I think realistically, if we look at the whole year or 8 months leading up to a Channel swim, if you say October to December, you would swim at least 5 times a week. Then building up to the winter months, from January through to April, May time, just before you go in the water, you can increase that, if you could, up to 10 times a week. However, I know that's pretty unrealistic for people who've got to work, but definitely 5 sessions to 10 sessions a week. Depending on the swimmer, depending on the lifestyle, depends whether you've got children, family, you know, it depends really on your pool, how many hours you can get in the pool. It's all different benefactors, what you can and can't do. But definitely I'm an advocate of getting the training done in the winter months, whereas other coaches will see that differently. I know the Channel Swimming Association are very much like do a pretty basic base of training during the winter, and do all your training once you get in the sea. We always train, do your hard stuff in the winter, come May, June time you're ready to race.
Yeah. So out of that, how many times would you say, once the sea's swimmable, how many times a week should they do open water sessions in preference to the pool sessions?
Well, I think preferably do half and half if you can. So if you're swimming 6 times a week, 6 times in the pool, 3 times in the pool, 3 times in the sea. The Channel, as we all know, is very unforgiving. You've got to get in that water and get used to it. There's nothing you will do in the harbour will prepare you for it. Mm-hmm. However, it will give you an advantage. And if you're only swimming in the pool, that's not going to give you much of an advantage in the sea.
Shortening it down now to the 10k distance, what sort of distance and repetitions do you feel they should aim for?
I think same as any marathon swimmer, and channel swimmers as well as 10k swimmers. The perception is we go and do loads of miles, and yeah, you do mileage, but you mustn't forget your speed work. I would say 50% of my training when I was a marathon swimmer was speed work. I've done a hell of a lot of distance work, but I've done a lot of speed work.
What would that include? 100s, 200s?
Yeah, 100s, 200s, speed 400s, 25s, I was a polo player as well, which gave me the sprint training as well. So you mustn't forget, because you're saying you're doing 10k, don't just think, well, I've got to go in and do 40 100s or 8 1ks. What that will do will give you the endurance, but you'll lose the speed. So you'll be able to swim up and down all day, but not at pace. So you must remember your short 25s, 50 sprints. Mustn't forget it.
What sort of percentage would you think for 25s, 50s, 100s in say an hour and a half session?
Well, it really depends on what cycle you're going through. I mean, it's very difficult to say, it really depends on how you're planning your training. Everything we done, it was planned, so you had distance weeks, sprint weeks, adaptation weeks. I don't suspect everyone knows how to do that, and in an ideal world that's what you'll be doing, but I would definitely every session, whether it's a speed session or if it's a distance session, do some speed at the end. So you're actually stimulating your body. So you're doing that distance work at probably at quite a lower rate, but then at the end you can do say 16:25 sprinting off a minute to still get some sprint work in. So your body's not getting used to just doing that up and down, up and down.
So change of pace.
Change of pace, yeah.
Okay, so hopefully there's some good advice there from one of the world's best swimmers.